Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lefty from 643 Productions coming at you here with another Black Ops sniping gameplay. This is 6-man team deathmatch on Villa. Using the variable scope, warlorded with extended mags, as you can see. For those of you that saw the dual comm, which will hopefully become a regular series with Snipinator on his channel, we talked about using the variable scope and not liking having to sacrifice the using extended mags if we're going to go with, let's say, Scout or Steady Aim, which I think has become pretty much the default second-tier perk for most snipers. And he suggested to me, said, hey, try it out with Warlord. Throw variable scope and extended mags. You won't even notice the difference, so I'm getting used to that here. You might notice a little bit I'm kind of fidgeting around with my aim at the beginning of the video. Sometimes throughout, I had just turned up my sensitivity to 9, not to 11. I'm not there yet, but just turned it up to 9. I was getting complacent at 8, so I thought a change was needed, and this was early on in the change, or that transition from 8 to 9, which is a noticeable difference, even though it is only from one level to the other. Anyway, I'm coming at you here right now with the second edition of Perks analysis. The first one I just came out with had some pretty good reviews. I think a lot of you enjoyed it, so I'm going to continue doing that. Let me know if you want me to continue on with this series more in depth, maybe not or talking about, not necessarily, I wouldn't say game development, but the interplay of perks and game mechanics. Maybe not just limited to sniping, maybe just limited to sniping. I don't know. If you like this video and you like this series, thumb the video up or comment or like, favorite, whatever it is you YouTube kids do, and let me know. Let me know what you want, and if I can continue, or if I should continue on with this series. Anyway, what I want to talk with you about today is something I hinted at in my first video when I started talking about sleight of hand. Now, the big thing that I came up with, or one of the first thing that I said was scrap the entire pro perk idea. And keying on that is kind of the idea of getting back to Call of Duty 4. You know, the idea where there's no pro perks, everything is really its own. There are still obviously 3 perk tiers, but there's no pro perks. What you get is what you see is what you get with the perk. Everybody from level 1, 0 prestige, to 50th level, 10th prestige gets the same value out of a perk as anybody else. So no pro perks, no watermarks to hit, no challenges to complete to get some extra benefit or something like that. Because my argument is that it kind of muddies the waters. But the idea that I had, the secondary idea, the second thing that the video was ending and I was running out of time. But my idea to remove ADS augmentation in general, in total, from the Call of Duty series, or just any FPS. Again, this isn't strictly Call of Duty speaking, but what I'm using here is I'm using the Black Ops and Call of Duty setup as a base, because that's a good base. Everybody knows it, all of you know it, I know it, so it's a good starting point. And my idea is to remove the augmentation of ADS by sleight of hand, or by any perk. And I didn't really get into why that is, or why that I think that is, and I thought it best to save it for a second video where I could explain it more in depth. And well, look, here we are, second video. I was thinking about how to explain this, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with the idea of time to kill, or TTKs, or damage output, the ability to output damage, which is really just a, I guess, bastardized version of TTK, or it's one level lower or above, depending on your perspective, I guess, relative to TTK. There it is. A little hard to say. I don't know why. Hope it's not a tumor. But my idea is, or I was thinking about this a lot, and my thought on it is, if you're going to make a competitive first-person shooter, a competitive multiplayer video game, what you want to do is balance the game mechanic. If it's going to be competitive, and by competitive I mean where player skill shines through, where people win or lose based on their skill relative to their opponents, what you want are people losing or winning because of their skill, not because of their choice in game mechanics. It takes very little skill to choose a game mechanic. Now, you can make the argument, of course, that situational picking and choosing of game mechanics is a skill, but in general, my thought on the subject, or on the issue, is that it takes very little skill relative to the actual in-game kind of engagements. And TTK is the time to kill. So assuming you see somebody at time 0, the TTK is how long it takes you for that person to die or for you to win that engagement from time 0 to time whatever. Now, when we're talking about game balance and weapon balance, what I like to do is assume accuracy, assume positioning, assume everything else to be neutral, right? So assume two guys are facing each other but behind individual curtains or barriers or whatever. And at time T0, the curtains drop, they see each other, engage each other immediately. Okay? Now, TTK from there you can get a good view of what TTK does and how some weapons are balanced with others. And my idea is the Sleight of Hand Pro, or the augmented ADS that comes with Sleight of Hand, alters the time to kill for every weapon in the game. Obviously not snipers, but every weapon in the game. To put it in perspective here, the AK-74U has a regular TTK within its primary damage range of 0.393 seconds. If every shot hits, 0.393. With Sleight of Hand Pro, that TTK reduces all the way down to 0.245 seconds. Now, Sleight of Hand Pro augmentation is special in that it is really the only second-tier perk in the game that alters TTK. It is really hardened, yes, a little bit, but even then, you're talking about shooting somebody through a barrier, and that's a little more cloudy in terms of what is it really altering. But Sleight of Hand is the only perk in the game whose pro version alters TTK. Now, my argument is, or my belief is, that if you want to have a really competitive and balanced game, there should be no perk that alters TTK or damage output or any variant thereof. Weapon attachments, that can come at a later date. Again, depending on how you guys like the video, I can come back with it talking about weapon attachments and all that. But I think when you start getting into Sleight of Hand Pro, when altering that kind of TTK, you're sort of removing the player from the skill equation, or you're moving skill from the equation that is every engagement in the game. And when you do that, the game becomes less competitive and more about who uses what perks when. And does it really take skill? Little hit or miss, I guess you could say, but in my book it doesn't. And I don't think altering TTKs like Sleight of Hand Pro does is really the best way to go about making a balanced or competitive video game or multiplayer aspect of a video game. Alright guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here, and stay tuned. After this video, you're going to get some breaking news from 643 Productions, or really it's just I saw a post on the Call of Duty Black Ops forums, and I went and tried it out myself, and so thanks should go to that poster whose name I'm too lazy to look up right now. So random poster guy, you know who you are if you're watching this video. Thank you. This is all due to you, so stay tuned for that coming next time. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I'm out.